Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to impartially unpack something pretty heavy, the systematic death of shared truth. We'll discover exactly how manufactured doubt has literally been weaponized against civil society. We're going to explore the nuts and bolts behind this crisis, relying directly on the historical and contemporary evidence from our source material. Let's get started.
Okay, we're going to dive into this with a surprisingly unsettling question. Honestly, it's one that really shouldn't be up for debate at all. Is 6 times 7 41? Now, obviously, no way it isn't, but this question actually serves as the perfect entry point into understanding a massive shift in how we process reality itself.
Consider this anecdote from about 30 years ago. An author recounts a parent's visiting day at a progressive grade school. When a student claimed that 6 times 7 was 41, the teacher simply replied, "I disagree." Now, at the time, parents just kind of rolled their eyes. Everyone seemed to agree that basic math is a fact, not an opinion. Just like everyone agreed the 1969 moon landing wasn't faked. But that instinct, that urge to just paper over facts and demote them to mere matters of opinion, that was an early warning sign of a much, much larger societal shift.
Section 1. The death of shared truth. Let's see exactly how this builds from isolated classroom incidents into a full-scale epistemic crisis today.
Because today, we are literally drowning in a tsunami of falsehoods. The sheer volume of it is just absurd. We're talking about viral claims on TikTok that Barilla pasta was infested with insects, which prompted an actual boycott. We see Russian disinformation operations pushing the myth that 5G cell technology causes cancer and COVID-19. Within 24 hours of the tragedy in Lewiston, Maine, internet platforms were just flooded with baseless claims that the mass shooting was a false flag staged by globalists. When beloved figures like Hank Aaron and Matthew Perry passed away, a barrage of posts immediately blamed COVID vaccines, and we even see state actors and politicians pushing the completely false narrative that Ukraine sold US-donated weapons to Hamas. The scale, and honestly the variety of these myths, is entirely unprecedented.
So to really understand this crisis, we have to draw a razor-sharp line between innocent mistakes and targeted manipulation. Misinformation is when someone shares a falsehood because they genuinely but mistakenly believe it's true. But disinformation? That is a coordinated, deliberate campaign engineered to benefit its creators. People don't just spontaneously wake up wondering if vaccines contain microchips, right? Those ideas are planted. The truth isn't just dying of natural causes. It is being actively killed by individuals and organizations who actually profit from our division and doubt.
Section 2. The blueprint for denialism. To understand how we got here, we have to rewind and look at the origin story of this crisis.
Get this, the architecture of modern science denial was literally invented on December 15, 1953. The heads of the 4 largest U.S. tobacco companies met at the Plaza Hotel in New York. Facing new scientific studies linking smoking to lung cancer, a PR specialist gave them a strategy. Just fight the science. Hire your own scientists, demand the media show both sides, and lean heavily on the idea that nothing has been proven. Their goal wasn't to prove the science wrong, it was simply to manufacture enough doubt to delay regulation, and it worked beautifully. Fossil fuel companies later adopted this exact same tobacco strategy to obfuscate the truth about global warming, despite their own memos showing they absolutely knew the truth as early as 1977.
So political actors watched these corporate giants successfully hide the truth about deadly cigarettes and climate change for decades, all while continuing to profit immensely. And the cynical, logical conclusion they drew was inevitable. If a strategy of manufactured doubt can work for science, well, that exact same strategy can be applied to reality itself.
This strategy eventually evolved into a highly effective 4-step post-truth playbook. First, it starts by attacking the truth tellers, the media, the scientists, the election officials. Next, you manufacture your own disinformation. Step 3, encourage deep distrust and polarization among the public. And finally, once everyone is thoroughly confused, claim that the truth is available only from the leader himself. The ultimate goal here isn't just to trick you into believing one specific lie, it's to completely demoralize you until you just give up on the idea that objective truth can even be known at all.
Think of that famous Holy Grail scene in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. He finds the Grail, but it's hidden among dozens of fakes. Today's truth killers know that in a society with a free press, you can't always hide or burn the facts. So they use disinformation as the ultimate form of modern censorship. By drowning real facts in an absolute sea of convincing fakes, they paralyze the public's ability to discern reality. Section 3. The Disinformation Machine. Now let's see what happens when you take that historical 1950s blueprint and upgrade it with modern technology. Historically, our power to communicate, and consequently spread falsehoods, has rapidly evolved. The 15th century printing press was essentially the slingshot age. The 20th century internet took us into the nuclear age, allowing anyone to instantly publish to the entire world. And now? Now we are entering the exponentially terrifying era of generative AI, where phony websites and social media posts can be mass-produced at a scale and persuasiveness we have literally never seen before.
Crucially, the disinformation machine has absolutely zero political loyalty. We see strategic denialism aggressively deployed across the entire political spectrum. On the right, we see the widespread promotion of 2020 election denial and voting machine myths. Over on the left, we saw activists and mainstream cable programs pushing a viral hoax that the Postmaster General was removing mailboxes to suppress mail-in ballots, when actually it was just routine maintenance. Foreign state actors like Russia and China actively push bioweapons conspiracies to fracture our society. We even see liberal political action committees secretly funding bot-written websites that pose as independent local news just to sway swing districts. Make no mistake, this is a nonpartisan plague.
And behind this entire machine is algorithmic greed. Disinformation is incredibly profitable. Sites peddling fake liquid silver cures for cancer often get way more online engagement than the famed Mayo Clinic. But here's the really jaw-dropping part. Because of programmatic advertising, where algorithms place ads automatically just to chase clicks, blue-chip advertisers and celebrated cancer hospitals are unknowingly funding these exact conspiracy websites. The algorithms don't care about the truth, they only care about the engagement.
Section 4. The erosion of trust. Finally, we absolutely must examine the devastating impact this machine has had on the very foundation of civil society.
The data here tells an incredibly stark story. As these disinformation loops feed our alienation and paranoia, trust in the institutions meant to steer us toward the truth has completely cratered. According to the Pew Research Center, public trust in the U.S. federal government to do the right thing has plummeted from 73% in 1958 down to a staggering 16% in 2023. When you can't tell the snake oil from the facts, people just stop trusting everything: the government, the media, doctors, and scientists.
And this isn't just an online problem relegated to our computer screens. When shared facts die, real-world chaos erupts. Because of online misinformation, we're seeing plunging measles vaccination rates and outbreaks of diseases we conquered decades ago. We've seen higher COVID-19 deaths in demographics where vaccines were turned into a political opinion rather than a medical fact. We've literally had utility workers attacked in the street because of 5G conspiracy theories. And of course, we saw the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6 by citizens fully convinced they were saving a rigged election. All of this builds toward the ultimate threat, perfectly summarized by Holocaust historian and political philosopher Hannah Arendt. She warned us decades ago that the ideal subject for authoritarian control isn't a true believer in a specific ideology. The ideal subject is someone who has lost the ability to distinguish between fact and fiction. Breaking a population's grip on reality is the prerequisite for totalitarian control. Which directly echoes modern Holocaust historian Timothy Snyder's chilling and succinct warning, post-truth is pre-fascism. When the truth is successfully killed and reality becomes just another partisan opinion, an electoral dictatorship is never far behind. Think about it. If people can be convinced of anything, they can be controlled by anyone. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Living together fruitfully requires a foundation of shared reality. If we can no longer agree on the basic, fundamental facts of our existence, if different people firmly believe in entirely different versions of the truth, how can we possibly build a functioning civil society together? Thank you for joining me as we unpack this vital topic. Keep questioning, keep seeking the facts, and I'll see you in the next explainer.